New Miles Monday, we'll go miles on this ride. New Miles Monday, with some miles on the side.
Let's put some water keys back on this trumpet. So what I'd like to start out with is sizing my new water key seal, or water key cork. We'll definitely use corks in quotes, because I usually don't like actual cork too much for this. So here's an example of the cork that came out of this one. Should have seen the, shoot, I threw them away already. No, I didn't. Good. I got some from a flugelhorn I just did. And yeah, natural cork, I don't think that's a great option for this. I mean, it's usually really low quality cork. Look at that huge gouge in the middle there. That's probably extending past the edge of the seal. So we got some little micro leaks in there. No thanks, I don't want that stuff. I prefer a synthetic seal for sure. So like something like these black ones from Valentino. Peel and stick, size written right on the back. Couldn't be any easier to use. And they come in a big kit like this. You can get individual sizes too, but I really like this kit because it's got just about every size you would possibly need for both small brass and large brass. Easy to use size chart, spaces. They have even more sizes than what comes in this, so sometimes I'll get some even more sizes. Like it doesn't come with 8.5 thin ones, kind of like that for some of them. So I'll order some 8.5s and add them to the kit. I've actually got 2 boxes of these. My 8.5s must be in the other box, but I'll go through and I'll just kind of dry fit, so I won't like peel the peel and stick part yet. But I'll go through with the water key itself and see what I think is going to work for that. And so I picked out these 8mm, and I'll kind of dry fit it like upside down usually, like that. Make sure it's nice in there, nice and snug, not going to fall out. I do that instead. I don't want to put the paper side in first, because sometimes if it's really snug, the paper will get caught in there, and I'll peel the peel and stick part before I mean to. So that's why I just kind of check it upside down like that. Hey, I'm happy with that. Pretty much always going to be the same size. Most trumpets have 2 water keys like this, and they'll almost always be the same size, and that's the case here. So both of these are going to take an 8mm. Great. Now, a pitfall I see a lot of people do, they pick out like, okay, got the size, and now they immediately peel it and stick it and put it in there. Don't do that yet. Save that for the very end. So we know what sizes we want. I'm going to set them aside for right now, and we'll do that as the very last thing, because you've got more room to work when you don't have the water key seal in there yet. And if it's a really snug, tight, difficult fit, it can be extra hard to get it installed with that pad already in there. So save that for the end, okay? But yeah, let's go on to putting a water key on. Most of the time, the 2 keys will not be exactly the same. See how we've got one that's a little bit bigger, one that's smaller and more curvy, and that's just going to kind of follow the main tuning slide and third slide. So the third slide is usually a bit smaller and definitely more curvy. So the more curvy slide gets the more curvy key. The less curvy slide gets the less curvy key. Simple enough. Getting this set up, this is where some people run into challenges too. Maybe you've done this a bunch of times and you're an expert at this, which that's great. You probably don't need to watch this video in that case. But if you don't see these too often, it can be really hard to remember, hey, which way does this silly spring go on the key? And a good way to remember is we want the loop part here to line up with kind of the loop part of the key itself. All right. So that loop right there is going to be sitting just sort of right underneath. So let's think of that as right side up. It'll be sort of underneath the loop, the kind of matching shape of the key itself. So when it's on there, ready to go, it's going to look something like that. Okay. So I'm going to kind of check out my tuning slide here. most of the time the screws are meant to go in one way and they won't even go in the other way. So I'm just kind of checking it. That's going to be the way that it goes in. And you can see that it doesn't even fit like that. That's a good thing to know if it's really tough to get a water key on. So tricky ones, you'll want to know this in advance to make sure that you're not, you finally get it lined up and then you're trying to get it in, but it's the wrong size and then you lose your grip and you got to start all over again. So I always like to check that first. So making sure, okay, I know the screw is going to go in from kind of the top from this point of view. Then from there, another spot that I see trip up people sometimes, I'll kind of pull the spring back like this. And now these kind of individual feet, they are going to sit on the far side of the saddle from the hole, okay? So these feet need to grab onto something back here on the far side of the saddle. So a lot of people will be kind of tempted to just like go straight down, and that would probably work pretty well on this one. This one's not a particularly challenging water key. On really challenging ones though, coming like top down is going to be more challenging. I kind of come across here, like more of a motion like that. And that is I think, an even easier way for it to grab onto where it's supposed to grab onto. Put the water keys screw through there. Once you kind of get it in there, we're good. I got to tighten it up, obviously. But once you get to this point, hey, happy times. I don't think that's going to go anywhere on us. So get it lined up. Just kind of get it started with my fingers, and then I like to grab a screwdriver. If it has a screwdriver slot, most do, not all do though. They're pretty snug. I don't want to crank it. That can make it bind up a little bit. But yeah, now we're good. Nice spring tension on that. And now, only now, the very last step, do I want to actually install the water key seal. So here is where I will peel it. Stick it. Just give it a little push. Just sort of observe things, make sure it looks like it's sealing, doesn't look like it's lopsided or anything like that. And then this one just got clean, so I'm pretty comfortable putting my mouth right on it. I like to do a quick suction test just to make sure. If it wasn't so clean, maybe grab some mouthpiece spray to spray off where you're going to put your face on it. And make sure I get a reasonable pop out of that. And I'm very confident that water key seal is going to last quite a while. So anyway, yeah, that's how I like to do that. Hope you found that a little bit helpful. Next time you got to work with a water key. Thanks for watching.
New miles Monday, we'll go miles on this ride. New miles Monday, with some miles on the side.